Chat, 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 chat,
We're
chat,
here.
chat, chat. Everybody! Hello, everyone.
Gang's all here.
This song should be in the F1 movie soundtrack. Agreed.
Agreed.
Panda was here first. NASCAR fan, this song always brings the hype. Agreed. What's up, Carnell? How you doing? Skills. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Ryan. How are you doing?
Brienne.
Rianne, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello.
I believe Ryan said General Motors, ladies. That's actually what that is.
General Motors ladies, hell yeah. I'm a big fan of General Motors.
Big GM guys over here. I'm in my like Cadillac nook. I've got Cadillac stuff over here, so
I should have worn my Cadillac shirt, but it's so flaming hot in this basement. I had to go with the my gardening overalls. Hello, chat. How are we doing? GM for the Cadillac. What's up, that one guy?
we're
Isn't it?
here.
That one guy, isn't it? Oh, it's 8 a.m. for you. Okay. I remember where people live, Elizabeth. Oh, no, because of
Remember
daylight
where people
savings.
live?
Now you're 2 hours behind. Now 3 because you're in Arizona and they don't time change.
Ew.
Ew. No, Arizona's the only smart state in this whole goddamn
I
thing.
mean, it makes sense, but also I hate that it's different and then I have to think about that kind of thing. I also hate that the UK and the US do their time changes at different points of the year because there's a 2 week period
Yeah.
at each point where I'm like, I don't know what day it is, I don't know what time it is. My
It's either
automatic
+6 or
internal,
+5. Yeah.
yeah, my internal like mental clock that I usually have when I'm like scheduling stuff for work, I'm like, oh, I have to go double check and make sure that not incorrect on this, and I usually am.
The time between changes is the worst. Agreed. Especially, yeah, as you and I, we talk with a lot of people in the UK, and I'm like, +5, +6,
Yeah.
14, -5. Oh, shit.
Legit, like one of the most visited websites of mine is timezoneconverter.com.
I just like to
Just
Google.
us.
I'm trying to also currently schedule something with someone in New Zealand. So there's a lot of New Zealand to EST
Lord.
conversion. Just like, how's
Lord.
this working? Was it working? Hello, Marco. Eventually, the U.S. government will come to a conclusion on daylight savings. Does the U.S. government ever come to a conclusion about anything? But
No.
I have so many time zone clocks on my iPhone clock app. Oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. I have a lot of
That's
weather people, weather stuff. So
weather.
where I currently am, Charlotte, Melbourne, which is where my parents are, Opole, which is where my grandparents are in Poland. It's always interesting to see how the weather's doing in Poland compared to me. Greenwich, where my brother is, New York City, where the rest of my family is, I had Indianapolis from the last travel. Oh, and Pikes Peak, which I no longer need either. Okay, I took some out. Thank you, guys.
Cute.
We're done here. Time
Checking
zones are a
the
funny
weather.
thing. They're a man-made construct. I think our stream should make up our own time zone.
Our own times.
Yeah. Chat, what time is it right now?
16 o'clock.
Done. Sold. Elizabeth stated. I'd also like to tell people to be careful on Craigslist, if that isn't very obvious already.
What happened?
We are attempting to buy a treadmill.
Uh-huh.
Okay? We figured I'd go on Craigslist, see what's there, and we will get a treadmill for cheap because I don't want to buy a new one if people are selling it
Yeah.
or moving, stuff like that. We found a guy selling it for $500. We looked up the model and stuff. That's a good price for the resale price of like an older model of this one, of the Nordic Track something. Other people have said other people on Craigslist have the same like price range around what he had. So I was like, the offer made sense. He was like, hey, just moved in from Texas was the whole thing. Looking to just like we've had to like downgrade our space size here in Charlotte. Just wanted to get this off our hands. 500. Also, delivery is available. We do have a pickup truck if you need help.
Nice.
Texted the phone number. It didn't go through, so I was like, oh, that's annoying. Then I get a text from a
Yeah.
different number, but like same area code of the original number that I texted. He's like, hey, I'm so sorry. This is my wife's phone. Which is more comfortable texting on this one. Are you still interested in the treadmill? I was like, yes, definitely. Also, is like pickup available? I mean, delivery available? He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We'll probably. Can I just get your area code? Don't need your whole address right now to see like how. Like it was like a very normal conversation. He also
Yeah.
sent a selfie with like part of his driver's license to like show that it's
Okay.
like him or whatever. I googled the
Uh-huh.
guy. As like something came up from a community college. The phone number, the thing that was first suspicious is the phone number. Nothing came up for the phone number, which usually when you Google phone numbers, like there's a bunch of stuff or like something. And this thing only had these phone numbers had nothing. So maybe it's like a Google Voice account or whatever. Any hoodles, he's like, would you mind before delivery? Like we set up a delivery time, and he's like, is it? he's like, is it okay if my wife also comes to help me like offload it? I was like, yeah, that makes sense, no problem. He's like, thank you so much. Oh, the Bitcoin scam, yes. So then he's like, okay, I was talking with my wife. Do you mind if we take like some small payment now, just to ensure like you're not gonna like we're not gonna drive over there, you don't exist, blah blah blah. And I was like, that totally makes sense. Like I'm happy to do like
Yeah.
a little bit now, like the rest later in cash. What do you prefer? He's like, I can do Cash App or something else. And I was like, I don't have whatever this other thing is. I didn't know what it was. So I was like, I can do Cash App, no problem. Thank you, Visa, Cash App, Red Bulls, Racing Bulls, whatever your name is. Terrible sponsor person here. And yeah, downloaded Cash App. I was like, I have it, all good. And then he's like, can we get on a call? I was like, yeah. So he calls me and he goes, hey, if you go in your Cash App account, something's wrong with mine. Do you see the Bitcoin option there? And I was like,
No.
I
don't.
no, I don't. Suddenly I went to like my stupid girl voice where I want to get away with things. And he's like, you don't see it there? I was like, what is it called again? You said Bitcoin?
Never heard of
And
it.
he's like, oh, that's so weird. I was like, oh, let me check like my app updates. I could have just like the old version of the app. I'll just give you a call right back. Hung up. And then me and my boyfriend are like, absolutely fucking not. This is so dumb.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And then I texted him. I was like, sorry, we're not comfortable paying Bitcoin. Goodbye. Reported the post. Reported to the FTC all the phone numbers. And I said,
What a
sayonara,
mess.
dude.
Some people.
Like,
It's too good to be true.
back in my day, we didn't scam people trying to buy treadmills.
Or did you?
I mean, I didn't. Who's scamming people buying treadmills? What's up, Scotty?
That feels like such a silly, I don't know. For a treadmill? You're really gonna get.
So my boyfriend really went into this, right? So he goes,
Yeah.
this is a great scam. I go, excuse me? He goes, yeah. Because he goes, if you send him half the money of 500, right, which is 250, that's below grand larceny. He barely gets in trouble if he gets caught.
Yeah.
And he's in Texas. He's definitely not in Charlotte if he's texting you from all these Texas numbers. Like, there's no way he's actually in Charlotte. And, like,
Yeah.
he's not going to get caught across state lines. And, like, how are you going to figure out if it's him if it's actually a Google Voice number? He's like, 250 is small enough where he can be like, oh, yeah, if these people have enough money to buy a treadmill, they can afford to lose 250. So in his head, he's
Yeah.
rationalized that where it's not that big of a deal. He's not, like, stealing from old people or from children
Yeah.
or from people who, like,
Yeah.
need the money most. It's people who are buying a treadmill as, like, an additional luxury item, basically. So 250 is nothing. So he's like, he's rationalizing in his head that this makes sense.
That's so funny. I mean, I'm glad that you caught it before anything happened.
It was more like Bitcoin. I was like, absolutely
yeah.
the fuck not.
Bitcoin, instant red flag. As
Who
soon
has
as you
Bitcoin
see
in this
that, it's like,
economy?
no.
That shit's
no one.
expensive.
Yeah, that's a
He did
mess.
text me his Bitcoin URL if anyone wants it. And I was
So,
like,
can you request money from his Bitcoin URL?
oh, that's funny. I have $6,000 left in my student loans. Please send it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bitcoin, you can't track or do whatever. Or, like, you can't get it back, or there's nothing backing it. Obviously, like no Federal Reserves
Yeah.
or some shit. Like if it was like through the bank, like Chase, Ally, all the banks that I use, would be like, ho ho ho.
Yeah. I don't.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. But you have reminded me that I need to cash out my therapist my money,
Oh yeah.
my invoice. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Everyone, make sure you've paid your rent, your credit cards, or at least your minimum
Yes.
payment on your credit cards. If you just do so right now.
Yeah.
I've also been getting a lot of scam texts about the DMV, but like I know
Oh my
they're scam
God.
texts because the area code is from the Philippines.
Let me tell you. Okay, so yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spam calls. 12. I've been harassed by so many spam calls. I can't cope with it anymore. Friday I had like 19. It's too much. How are we letting people get away with this?
I can't believe you have that many spam calls. I get maybe like one a week, maybe.
Mine go through like phases where I'll get like 50 and then I won't get any. But like, I don't know. I also don't think I have access. So I used to be on a service called Delete Me.
Yeah.
Because when I worked at Jalopnik, they used to it was automatically like they paid for it, they covered it. So I don't think I got that anymore. So I think my phone number is probably out and about.
Oh.
Pisses me off.
Keep getting the toll scam texts. Me too.
The toll scam ones are funny.
Marco's saying we get to the point here where people just don't answer the phone anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I screen all my calls. Unless it's like, it says like Elizabeth Blackstock. Even then, like people can now like spoof it where it looks like you're calling me.
Yeah.
And things like that. But usually, I mean, I haven't gotten that yet, luckily. That I know
Mine
of.
pops up with like a little thing and it's like likely spam, and then I just
Right.
don't answer it. And then if it leaves a message, it's usually a spam message.
Unless I have your number in my phone, I am not picking up
Yeah,
the phone.
absolutely not.
If your name's not saved to something, no way.
Or unless I'm like waiting for a call from someone that it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know I'm gonna get something.
Right.
I did that the other day that where I messaged someone and I was like, yeah, yeah, call me whenever you got a time today. And then the next call I got was a fucking spam call. And I was like, are you serious? Ah!
I'm tired of every politician text me that they need $2. Yeah. That I always feel weird about, right? Because, like, I get what they're trying to do. But, like, why are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm the
I feel
American
like
people
there's-
who needs to look for, like, egg sales, okay? You need to fix
Yeah.
the problem for me to give you $2. I currently do not have that.
That $2 goes not that long anymore.
I think there probably is a study that people who donate like the smaller amounts, like the 2, the 5, the 10, let's say, that actually adds up to a greater portion or percentage of a fundraiser's stuff than like the top like thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars. But whatever.
Yeah, but still.
Anyway,
Tell me what you're gonna do for me before you start asking me for $2.
that one guy says I got a debt collect call from Michelle. So whoever Michelle is, you owe $750 out there. I once got a call and someone's like, "Is Sophie there?" I was like, "No, sorry, you got the wrong number." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "Are you based in like Colorado?" I was like, "I am legit a 30-year-old woman in Washington D.C." He's like, "I am so sorry." I was like, "You fuck!" I got so mad. Are you sure?
Are you sure? No, I'm not sure actually. I used to, so when I lived in Philadelphia, the apartment I lived in, apparently there was a family that lived there before. They never transferred their mailing address.
Ooh.
So I was getting like debt collection letters and stuff where it was like, warning, get that I got like what I assumed must have been a college application rejection or acceptance because I was getting a shitload of those for, one of their daughters apparently. And I was like,
Congratulations. Hope they knew.
I was like, this is crazy. Like you didn't change your forwarding address for like the like your kids' school. That's crazy.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, I usually do the forwarding thing for a long time. Like I extend it even past the like a year or whatever that they give you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting a lot of emails for like a business that I guess that someone who lived here used to. Like they put this as their mailing address for the business. I just put return to sender on the envelope and put it right back in the mailbox, just so they know. That's kind of slowed down some things, but
Yeah. Still.
oh yeah, exactly what Francis say. Return to sender permanent. Yeah, the college acceptance thing is crazy. Hopefully they got an email.
That was like the debt collection and the college acceptance were like two. I was like, this is crazy. You never know if it's like a scam thing because I get so many of those. But like, holy crap, this feels like a big deal. Like your kid's college. Like I'm getting mail from the college and it's a big fucking packet. Like I'm assuming that's your entrance packet. I'm not assuming that, or like maybe you're just getting information. I don't know. I feel like you'd want to double check that.
Especially because you have to pay for like the SATs and the application fee to like after you pay all those things and do all those hoops, you want to get the thing that you have. Sigrid says the U.S. is a wild place. Yeah, we have a lot of. I'm just gonna say yeah. As someone who's worked for the federal government, yeah,
our infrastructure is just kind of crumbling. And we just all act like that's a normal thing because we don't know any better.
I don't know how to explain to you guys after working in the with the U.S. government, various departments, like how we're barely hanging on. I just like don't know how to describe it. Like everything we do is by a thread. Like the minute, I don't know, someone accidentally deletes an Excel spreadsheet at the FAA, we're fucked. Like I'm just not. I'm letting you guys know. It is insane. How like little the percent error is going to be and how like we just kind of deal with it. That's how I felt before I let go of my government job. Dude, it's insane. And this is on all administrations. Like I don't know if it's like such deep rooted like infrastructure problems that we have that you really need to overhaul the whole thing and it'd be such a pain in the ass. So like I think currently like every administration tries to patch something. They just slather on a shitty work patch and hope the dam doesn't fall apart.
Yikes.
It's insane how things are run on like an Excel spreadsheet or like a very like a 60-page Google Doc. And I'm like, not even Google, Microsoft Teams, excuse me, use SharePoint in the government. And I was like, this is insane. This
Bro.
is.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure there's nothing worth worrying about.
Every time I hear someone's like, "Oh, the government definitely faked the moon landing," I'm like, "No, they definitely did not. We would know. Trust me, we would so know.
The
They
government
cannot
can't
hide
even
something like that.
reel anything.
Dog, it can't even reel anything. That's so funny. It's actually SharePoint. Get it right? SharePoint version V2 underscore final underscore. Look at this one. Underscore this one for Congress underscore final
Final for real.
final for real. If Williams can build an F1 car with a spreadsheet, you can run a government with one.
Yeah, but
Dude.
did Williams do it well on their spreadsheet?
They did something.
They did it. But was it the best way? I don't think it was.
Don't think it was, but alas, now I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, streaming from my basement. So who knows? Elizabeth, how was your weekend?
It was a weekend. Worked. That was about it. Chris made me dinner. That was about it. Didn't do much.
Respect. Did you go anywhere? Did you do anything?
Absolutely not. I worked. I worked my 10 to 6 shift, so there's not really much going around time. Get done with work, watch race car, go to bed, wake up and do it all again.
See, Ingredient says the most shocking thing I learned recently is like 75% of the U.S. government services still run of actual physical paperwork. The number of times I've had to fax things is insane.
Bro. Facts. Not facts.
There is at least one person still employed in each government office for the sole reason is they know how to use the fax machine. I shit you not.
Oh no. Oh.
Won't tell you which agency, but they're like, oh yeah, just Patty's over here. She knows how to use it. She's our resident fax machine user. And I was like, what else does she fucking do?
Faxes all day.
UK Health Services still uses Windows 10. I wouldn't even know where to go to find a fax machine.
I think my
Any U.S.
friends
government
have
office, let me
that.
tell you. FedEx, UPS probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I've never done a fax. I've never faxed.
You've never, really? Even growing up,
Never
you've never
faxed.
faxed?
Growing up, we didn't have technology, and I wasn't allowed to use it if we had it.
Oh, we had a fax machine, which was like also our telephone. It was like a really big rectangular thing, right? And like really big ass buttons and had the fax and the phone, obviously because you needed to connect the fax to the phone line. But like one time I forgot a worksheet at school, and my friend faxed me a copy of her worksheet. It was great.
That's so funny. No, never. We didn't have internet until I was like 10. And then at that point it was dial-up until I was like 15.
Oh yeah, dial-up was always fun. I went, Mom, get off the phone.
Yeah. Had to ask my mom to sign in. We had AOL. It was a mess.
Ask Jeeves. Shout out Jeeves. I don't know where he went.
Jesus.
In the good old days.
He's out of here.
And so that modem screen, the AOL connection. Remember getting AOL CDs in the mail or in the newspaper
Oh my gosh.
with my Toys R Us catalog?
The good old days.
My Hotmail address is still floating out there somewhere.
I still have mine. I use it for my spam stuff.
Oh, that's nice. I should have
Yeah.
done that. All right, Elizabeth, shall we get into the podcast?
Let's dig in. Tell us about Cadillac and your stream.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So for those of you who may or may not know, Cadillac, hashtag thank you so much, asked me to host their stream again on their official YouTube page. What they do is put 2 onboards from their cars in the World Endurance Championship, and they were in Sao Paulo, the 6 hour. When they first emailed me, they're like, hey, if you were to stream all 6 hours, how much would that cost? Because for Le Mans, I only did the first 2 and the last 2 for the 24. And they're like, how about for the full 6?
Nice.
And I calculated what I did for the 4, and I was like, oh, I can't ask more for the 6. Like, I had to do
Yeah.
the same rate per hour, because that's kind of dick if I, like, increase my prices. So, gave it to them, and they're like, done. You're streaming the
Nice.
full 6 hours, baby. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So the team the agency that they work with is really, really nice. Like, I've never been, chat, more prepped and, like, taken care of than this agency. It's
so
awesome.
nice.
Cadillac and the agency they use. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the agency they use. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Well, they use monks. Anyway, let me just throw that out there. They're so nice. They have like PowerPoints, like a PowerPoint of like the race, all the facts, everything that Cadillac like wants me to talk about. They like do we do a test. They have multiple documents. They have different. So she does. Oh my gosh, Linda, who I work with, she does two email threads. One's a legal thread of like, should I have to sign and like urgent, and the other one's the execution thread where it's like the PowerPoint, like talking points, whatever. I'm like, oh, thank you so much for
That's
separating
so
them.
nice.
It just makes sense.
Yeah,
You know?
it really does.
It's just like well done. I've never been so like informed about everything that's happening. Like I always feel good when I work with them because they know exactly the time, they know what they want, they know what to say. They're cool with me kind of like using my personality. It's just so nice. And for those of you who maybe I've talked about this, but I text Elizabeth this all the time of like shit that goes down when I'm working on a race weekend with someone or like doing something with someone, even like at home virtually, like other streams and stuff. They don't tell me shit. I don't get anything at least like 12 hours before. No one informs me of anything. I have to figure everything out, whether it's my transportation when I get to the track. They're like, "Oh, just go here." And I'm like, "I've never been here before. What are you talking about? Can you just like come get me, or like can you give me a map? I don't even give a shit. Can you fire up a flare? Like anything." Like, the number of times I've worked with teams that are just like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. Your credentials at the credential office." I was like, "Where's the credential office? I've literally never been here before."
Yeah.
And it's just been very last minute, or they've changed things, or they're like, "Oh, like you're speaking here today. Here are some talking points. Can you memorize them in 5 minutes?" And I was like, "Jesus fucking Christ, dude."
Yeah,
So,
there's a very significant lack of like organization and also, I think, intention. Sometimes I think a lot of folks go, "We want to do this," and then that's about as far as
right,
they go in terms of the planning of it. And then they are like, "We'll just let someone else take the creator. She's got this."
yeah. And I think I've been very patient a lot of times where I have figured it out on my own, or like texted like Elizabeth. I'm like, "Hey, Elizabeth, I know you're at the track. Can you tell me like where something is? Because I have no idea what's happening right now." But yeah, Monks and Cadillac have done a really good job of like just giving me everything I need to know. Talking points, answers to questions. For example, Sebastian Bourdais got penalized for impeding the Peugeot, but it wasn't. They know he didn't do it on purpose, so he lost a spot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, how do you want to talk about this? Because this is like your stream, and I'm not going to be like, oh, like he didn't do anything bad, like he didn't mean to, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll tell me how to address it, like and we had a live chat document. So if someone was asking a question in chat that I didn't know, they'd give me the answer and all this other
That's so
stuff.
nice.
It was just like really well executed, and the whole team's like behind and just wants to see you do well, obviously. So that was really fun. And then Cadillac got a 1-2, baby. That shit was crazy.
Nailed it.
It was their first
My
win.
son Will Stevens.
Dude, okay, so you're looking at the so this is what happened, Chad. So we qualified the car number 12, car number 38, and those are the two Cadillac Hertz team Jota V Series .Rs, as I've had to say 100 times this weekend. You had Alex Lynn, Will Stevens, Earl Bamber, Jensen Button, Sebastian Bourdais, and I feel like I'm missing someone. I am missing someone. It's fine. They won't sue me. Fingers crossed.
Stinky Steve.
Stinky Steve. And the car number 12 kept P1, but then car number 38 was qualified second, but it was demoted down to third, then lost a spot to Porsche. They both passed the Peugeot. Race started. The Porsche Penske fucking weaseled its way in there, number 5. And that's always hard to like react to when you're doing a live stream because you're like, yeah, oh, boo, Porsche, these nuts. Like I can't say that. I can't be feisty. So they lost the spot, which is fine. And then 12 got a drive-through penalty for like tire pressure or something. So we're like, oh shit. Yeah. But then you're seeing these two drivers. Like at first, the Porsche Penske looks like it's running away with it, right? It's like 20 seconds. And then all of a sudden, the 12 and the 38 are there. And then it's like 18 seconds, 17, 15, 14. I was like, where are these lap times fucking coming from? I was like, this is insane. I was like trying to remain calm during the stream. I was like, wow, these guys are doing a great job. But in my head, I was like, this is fucking crazy. What is this Cadillac doing? And I was like, yeah, I get it. As the race goes on, like you lose weight because of the fuel burn and like your tires get like whatever. But then you lose like some tire advantage because you don't want to push too hard because like Interlagos just got repaved. And then other sections got reworked again after the repave. But Interlagos is really tough on the right-hand side. And I'm just like looking through this. But they're like, both cars are chipping away. Not even chipping away. They're carving out seconds. And I was like, holy shit. This is insane. Porsche Penske has like clean air and like, but they both have to navigate through traffic. Everyone has to like deal with it. Sorry, I'm looking up this this thing that I use. What is it called? It's called Blue something, isn't it? It shows the times. Blue. Gosh, sorry, chat. I get a report. What is it called? Chat, do you know what I'm talking about? It gives you like the lap times or whatever of drivers. Here, let me look it through this way. Oh, B-pillar report. I'm such a doofus. Blue. B-pillar report. If you go subscribe to it, I 10/10 recommend. This is not sponsored. They also don't charge you for this. You just like sign up your email. It gives you driver performance reports for the race.
Cool.
So, right, I'm denoting that these two, Earl Bamber and Will Stevens, are just carving away seconds. They catch up to the Porsche. They pass the Porsche. No problems. We win a 1-2. Sebastian Bourdais was able to keep the Porsche at bay at the end there as well due to the traffic and making his car really wide defending. We crushed it, right? 1-2, which is huge. Cadillac's first win, World Endurance Championship with Hertz Team Jota. Everyone's celebrating. We're all partying. Everyone's great. I get this B-pillar report, and I'm like, let me take a look at this shit. So this is the fastest racing laps of the 6 hours of Sao Paulo, and they break it up by class, of course, and they let you know who had like the fastest on average lap. Will Stevens, Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Earl Bamber, Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Alex Lynn, number 3, Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Norman Nato, Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Then it's Julian Anlander, which is Porsche Penske. But then Jensen Button, Cadillac Hertz Team Porsche. All the top drivers for the fastest average lap is all Cadillac. And I was like, we're totally going to get bopped to shit for the next race, which is unfortunate.
Oh, absolutely.
It's Coda.
Oh, shit, is it really?
Yeah. They can't, God forbid, an American team.
Tarnation.
Yeah, but it was, the chat was normal.
That's
surprisingly.
good.
Some people came in and they're like, oh, is there only like a car audio? I was like, no, this is like a watch along. They were respectful about it. Like, I get it. It's not for everyone. But yeah, everyone was actually really cool and like asking questions and doing stuff. Yeah, time flew by.
That's
and
awesome.
Then now we're here. But yeah, fingers crossed for Circuit of the Americas.
Shout out to Will Stevens. I have a cardboard cutout of him in my office. He's all dripped out in multiple credential badges that I haven't figured out what to do with yet.
Oh, you talk about the kites. Yeah, there were two full course yellows specifically for kites on the track.
Kites?
Yeah, like
the things that go in the air?
I think they were actually like banners or something, and they just like and they just look like kites, like it's like the triangle, but like they hang them on the wall or something. I think they're just for decor, but they called them kites in the broadcast, and they fell in the track. This was very windy.
So funny. Joseph.
I've seen enough of this week's bop. Make Ferrari great again. Pookie Bear, Jensen Button, let's go.
J Butts. Jensen's a very nice fella.
He's
very
also
nice
pretty.
Man.
I like the way he talks about certain things. He's very rational. Does that make sense? Or
yes.
When he got out of the car for his stint, they were interviewing him on the main broadcast. Oh my God, Kitty!
Stolen my headphones. Oh.
We've lost Elizabeth.
Sorry.
Who was that?
Who was the thief?
Joseph.
Joseph wanted to jump up and then realized that there are cords here and then freaked out because he can't see very well. So he felt the cords and got freaked out about it.
He also has the best faces when he interacts with Danica. Yeah, Jensen Button, I like the way he talks because he was pretty confident in the team, obviously, when they were finally 1-2 again. But even then, he was like, we're checking out our pace. Like, it wasn't like it wasn't depressing. He wasn't being a negative Nancy about it. He was just being realistic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I like the way you're talking. Also, Earl Bamber and Will Stevens got out of the fucking car and they went to interview him and they're like, yeah, the race is going fine. I was like, guys, I know what you just fucking did. I just watched it.
Game face on, dude. We're not letting anything go.
He was like upset. It's like, should have chipped away more. I should have fucking been 20 seconds ahead at the end of my stint. They were like upset.
That's so funny.
They were just so stone faced. There was that emoji on the iPhone with like I don't know if you also have it on the Android, just the line mouth and the two eyes. When they got out of the car. Yeah, this race is going well. I'm excited for Cadillac. I think we're crushing. I don't really know yet. I was like, guys, you just like demolished a 20-second lead from the Porsche Penske and then passed him and then gained yourself another lead.
So you can't flex too hard though, because then what if you get in trouble?
That's true. They only did the first 2 stints. We still had 4 hours to go by the time they got out of the car. But I was like,
exactly.
You should be like, fuck yeah, I just rock that shit.
Yes. Start celebrating. Pop the champagne now, buddy.
I also got to spread my Tour de France propaganda during the Cadillac stream. HCAT's denoted that. One of the teams, EF Easy Post on the Tour de France, they have a Cadillac EV as their team car.
Nice.
It's the bright pink ass car if you watch the Tour de France. And also, Ben Healy now currently has the yellow jersey from that team. So,
Nice.
shout out. Cadillacs just winning this weekend.
Just out here doing it.
Just out here doing it. And yeah, everyone's so nice from the team. And really sweet. Oh, I also had a long sleeve for my Le Mans stream. And I asked for a t-shirt because my basin's so hot, and they like overnighted a t-shirt. I was like, that's so nice of you guys. I was just asking if you would mind I would wear one because I would like buy the shipping myself. And they're like, no, we'll
Yeah.
send you a t-shirt right now. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much.
That's so cool. It's nice. It's rare how to be that well respected, I think, as a creator. Usually it's just kind of I don't know. Often I feel like brands treat creators as like a bonus or like a cherry on top and so it's like, well, if they want to do this, they should figure it out themselves and they should do whatever. And it seems like Cadillac is much more of like, we've hired you for a reason. That
Yeah.
reason is because we like you and respect you. So we're gonna treat you with respect, which is very nice.
Either a flaw of mine or a pro, depending how people look at it. Like, if I'm part of your team, like I am part of your team, but I also expect the same thing back, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So, a previous team that I worked for didn't also always feel that way. Um, so it's just nice when I have opinions or suggestions or like, hey, do you mind? Like, I try to be very professional always.
Yeah.
I didn't like want free merch. I was just like, I don't want to sweat balls in this white T-shirt and everyone's gonna see my sweat stains, and I want to like represent you guys well.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I wore a T-shirt? And they're like, we'll send you one right away, no problem, makes sense. And I was like, that's so nice, thank you so much.
So sweet.
Also, it's just easier to talk about them then. Like, I don't have to like jump around any issues or like be careful of what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can just.
It just, I don't know.
It was
To me,
just-
it
it's
just
just so
makes
nice.
sense. Where it's like you absolutely want to facilitate something so that this person you're paying money to is going to be able to do the best job that they possibly can, feel as comfortable as they possibly can. You know, it's a small thing, but it's a very big thing at the same time. If I go to a racetrack and I'm too damn hot, like I'm gonna be miserable the entire time. I'm not gonna do a good job because all I can think about is that I'm sweaty.
You're like, oh, this sucks. Yeah, and I think other times we've talked about like when motorsports is weird with creators in a way like I still don't think all like series know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Like F1, right, just like invites a bunch of them with like really high followings and just like go party and like post that, which I guess is like a thing that they want to do to showcase exclusivity and whatnot. Fine. I just think for smaller creators, like I want to work during a weekend.
Yeah.
Also watch the race, but that's hard to do. But like I'm happy to do like a dirty job. Like, do you need help changing your tires? Like, I will do that. Not in the pit lane, obviously, because I would not do that well. But like, do you need me to help you roll these tires down the pit
Yeah.
lane? Like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And there's like a weird in between of, yeah, I just don't think they know what to do with us because they'll invite us and they'll be like, okay, have fun, and I'll be like, have fun doing what?
Yeah, it feels like there's often like a disconnect between what they think a creator does and what a creator actually does.
Like, are you inviting me to party in your suite?
Yeah.
Well, clearly not because you didn't give me suite tickets or like access to your suite. So I'm not doing that. And they're like, oh, but you have media center access. I was like, great, but I'm not also traditional. Like, I'm not writing anything. If I was just in, like, I don't even have to be in your, like, can I, right? Me and Elizabeth
Yeah.
talk about this all the time. Do content creators like myself need media center access? And I guess it's just an easy way to place us without putting us in like
Yeah.
your suite, and then also not like inviting us to not general admission. So it's like, oh, you get
Yeah.
media access, but it's like, do I need media access?
Yeah.
Like the Wi-Fi is nice, but
The
like
Wi-Fi is nice.
I feel like I can also get
Food's
that in
nice.
your suite. But I guess
Yeah.
you don't want me you don't want me like being in your riffraff. But then why would you trust me in the media center? Like there's just all these things I have questions about.
Yeah.
Depends what kind of creator you are. IG, I guess. Everybody's working for the weekend. That's a great song. I guess it depends what kind of creator you are. Everyone, like, a lot of motorsport content creators.
Yeah. It just
I'm
it
gonna
feels
be
like
honest,
there
do not need to be in the media center.
I think
saying
that's the thing is like teams treat content creators as like a one size fits all thing, and it's not. There's people who do things differently. I don't understand why they don't see that because like as a writer,
Yeah.
you invite writers out, you understand that one writer is going to have a different area of coverage and focus than someone else. So I don't know why it doesn't seem like that has quite made its way into the content creator hiring space at this point yet.
But as a writer, do you sometimes get invited to like the fancy seats or whatnot to like
Mhm.
experience it like with the OEM or the team and
Mhm.
whatnot? Yeah.
Yeah. More often than anything else. If a team invites me out, I am in hospitality with them. Almost guaranteed.
Yeah, they haven't figured that out for creators.
Yeah. Which
And that,
is that's a thing that's strange because it's like, I don't know. I would need
ignore.
I could do with the media center access, like I don't necessarily
Right.
need to be rubbing shoulders up here with guests and sponsors and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And neither do I'm not saying neither do I. But it's like
Yeah.
I don't need media center access. And so did you want
Yeah.
me to and they're like, "Oh, we got you better than GA." And I was like, "But media center access doesn't get me seats to the
Correct.
race."
Yeah.
So, I was like, "What do you want me to do with this?" I'm sitting in a room.
That's
And I'd like to
that's
watch
the
do you
hard
want me to talk
part.
about the race? I was like, do I have access to the team? Like, can we do interviews and stuff? And like, me and Elizabeth have worked through this where I was like, okay, thank you for inviting me to the race. Can I do something? Like, here's some ideas that I have. Can I do these
Yeah.
interviews? Can we talk about this stuff? Can I live stream during something for you guys? Like, I got ideas. But then they'll
Mhm.
invite me, and then it'll just be like, it's like a weird. I'm like, okay, can I get seats
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah.
And they're
They
like, well, it
just
can't
like
be
haven't
GA
quite
because you can't like tag us in GA because it'll look like we just sent you there in GA. I was like, I think free tickets are free tickets. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty sick either way.
In this
but
economy, it's pretty rough.
yeah. I don't know. It's very weird. It just seems like they get you there and then it's like, all right, here you
Yeah,
go.
HCats is a good point. I will say in like the NFL, so I follow a lot of baseball content creators. I really like because I fucking love baseball and I also love their stuff. So HCat says I will say in the NFL, MLB, NBA, you see content creators usually promoting something or doing something like being on the field, doing something with the players, or even filming content on the field. I don't think motorsports has really figured that out yet. Agreed. Motorsports is trying to stay relevant with having content creators, but haven't figured out what their place should be and what to do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's one baseball creator I follow. Her name's Kate, and she'll go out in the field, like interview players, or like they'll take her to. Sometimes in certain fields or stadiums, they'll have like when the players walk out, there's places for like people to stand to see them walk out and whatever. So like she'll be there, and they'll give her like pretty decent seats, but like they'll have her come early. They'll give her like a merch thing, maybe like some food comps or whatever. But then she'll do content for them before the game, and then she'll just sit in like whatever seats that they provided for her. I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. We also,
Yeah.
I just have a problem with creators and I'm just going to say this, Elizabeth. No, I can't. We're sucking up. I'm not going to say anything, chat. We're moving on.
Yeah. Sorry, chat. Rapid fire news?
I'll tell Elizabeth later.
Yeah. I'll wait. News. The success of the F1 movie has Apple entering the ring for US broadcast
Boo.
rights.
This is everyone's fault for watching this goddamn movie.
Oh my
I'll never
goodness.
forgive any of you for this.
Apple realized it could potentially have some benefit here if it were to move to streaming. ESPN currently has the rights to the end of 2025, and ESPN had a period during which it could negotiate a new deal, but instead opted to let that period of time expire. That does not mean that ESPN is out of the running now. It just means that they did not want to pay the money that they were being asked to pay. Rumor has it that a deal currently for this next signing period will run somewhere between 150 to 200 million dollars. ESPN paid 85 million. So that would move Apple to streaming only in the United States, but apparently the FOM is saying that it would also retain those rights equally in the United States so that F1 TV would still be an option. So I can't really complain. But
Chap explained this to me a little bit, or to all of us. I was wondering, like,
Yeah.
why switch? I guess I do have Apple TV and F1 TV. It depends what Apple TV
Yeah.
has. If it just has a broadcast like ESPN does, and then nothing else, no pre, no
Yeah.
post race show, no nothing, it's
Yeah.
just annoying to have both. So I would only stick with F1 TV. I'm not sure why Apple would do that.
Yeah. I think they just, I don't know, maybe want to get into the streaming thing. Like moving to streaming for moving sports to streaming is a very big
Yes. Yeah.
opportunity right now. And I think we're still at like the initial stages of that. So I don't think anyone knows what they want to do per se. It's just like if we scoop up all of these rights and we take care of it now, then we don't have, we can figure that out. It would be nice to have our own like bespoke broadcast. Some folks in the United States that know what they're talking about go to the races, speak
Yeah.
educatedly about these things, um, as opposed to just like rehashing the Sky Sports broadcast. It just depends on what Apple wants to do with it. So, who knows?
Yeah, it kind of sucks losing the ESPN crowd who just had it on. Someone in the Discord made a great point. This is Douglas. Douglas, I don't know if you're in here, but appreciate him saying this. So he's a big MLS slash just general soccer fan, and he said MLS and Apple ended up having to sign a deal with DirecTV to put all their broadcasts to be available on cable because bar partners use DirecTV, not Apple TV, nor have access to Apple TV.
That's funny.
So if you're doing watch-alongs in Formula One in these bars across the United States, or people are trying to like wake up early and get these bars to put on like ESPN, that's not a problem because they always had it.
Yeah.
And now they won't do that
Yeah. Yikes.
unless they do a deal with DirecTV. Because someone meant, I think, someone else in the Discord mentioned that that's what Amazon Prime and NASCAR had to do as well to keep their bar
Interesting.
audience. So we'll see how Apple and F1 TV shake out. But yeah, it might be the end of bar parties in the
I
United
was gonna
States.
say I don't think F1 really cares about that. I think they probably are like, we hate bar parties because it means you're not at home watching it on your own television. We can't count you as a viewer unless you view it individually. We also had a potential meeting between Toto Wolff and Max Verstappen in Sardinia this week. Jet and yacht tracking basically showed that Max Verstappen's jet arrived in Sardinia and Toto Wolff's yacht arrived in Sardinia. And I think it was Ralph Schumacher who said that he was aware that there was a meeting scheduled. So everyone kind of put these pieces together and ran with it. There's a lot of talk about Max Verstappen perhaps moving to Mercedes. It would be very funny if this turned out to just be we just vacationed here at the same time, or Max sent like Kelly Piquet out to
Yeah.
go to Sardinia for a little vacation. He's at home. But yeah, apparently potentially discussing moving to Mercedes for the future. We'll talk a little bit more about Red Bull in a moment, but that got its own whole section this week because it was so much.
Yeah, before Secret Ingredient has a heart attack. A lot of things around this.
Yeah.
The yacht and jet tracking, one, I find a little weird, but whatever. Apparently people have figured out like soccer trades and deals and stuff. Someone was explaining to me in the Discord. Whatever.
Well, this was also like the jet tracking for Verstappen specifically was how a lot of folks thought he was having his baby. Kelly was having their baby.
Oh, yeah.
Because he did not travel during his normal travel day. So it's one of those
Dorky
things.
goes two rich men in a popular vacation spot. Fork found in the kitchen. So they did go. Their yacht and their jets, whatever, were both in the same location. We do not know anything else for fact. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Some pictures that you might have seen of like people entering private jets or yachts, some of them are fake. By the way, those are from a different year. Those are fake. All we know is they were both in the same vacation spot at the same exact time. And that's it. We don't know if Max has pursued his exit clause for a fact. We also don't know if he has or hasn't. We don't know if they actually talked. We just know they're in the same place at the same time. I want to make that abundantly clear.
I just like the idea of Toto Wolff treating Max to a little vacation. I was like, see what we can offer you? We'll take you to Sardinia.
Wait, I need to Google something real quick. Please hold. Okay. Mercedes F1 headquarters. Brackley. I knew that. Brackley, England to Milton Keynes. You guys are a 40-minute drive apart, and you flew to Sardinia.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If I was an F1 driver, I would absolutely be like, no deal
You
of
probably
mine
don't.
is
You
being
both live in
signed.
Monaco. Like you could also just meet there.
No
What am I?
deal of mine is being signed in Monaco. No deal of mine is being signed within a 50-minute drive of my house. I want to go.
I mean, Kelly posted some photos of vacation, lots of fucking boats. Yeah, there could have been other people there that we don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
other drivers and stuff like that. And I never have to listen. I'm sure Ralph Schumacher is a nice man. I don't listen to what he has to say. Ever. Sorry, this. I know this is the 6 months of sucking up, but this man has just wanted attention for a while. And I
Anyway, that's his
respect it.
life.
I respect it, dude. You know, good for him. But I am not not taking anything he says correct. So yeah,
What I like about this is that we are entering a period of F1 speculation that feels more like soccer speculation or like football speculation, where it's like we're drawing on the signs of the universe. Like we're pulling bits and pieces of information and drawing conclusions from a thousand varieties of sources. I think it's funny.
God, we're so fucking bored without race weekends. We're just
Yeah, I
tracking
know.
jets and yachts.
Gotta do what
Insane.
you gotta do. We also had more NASCAR drama. So 2311 and Front Row Motorsports this week were denied a rehearing in the NASCAR antitrust suit. That basically, so June 5th, judges revoked an injunction that allowed 2311 and FRM to operate as charter teams despite not signing the charter agreement in a you cannot have your cake and eat it too ruling. 2311 and FRM appealed that, and the appeal was denied. That would mean that those teams would turn up to Dover as open cars. However, both of those teams have filed a new preliminary injunction and a restraining order against NASCAR, and NASCAR has until 5 p.m. on Wednesday to respond. The argument here that the teams are making is that if they were to have their charters revoked, it would be impossible for them to get them back. They want to kind of keep things in a holding pattern until the actual trial of the antitrust lawsuit in December. The reason, again, for this is they are not upset at the charter system necessarily. They are upset at NASCAR not talking to the teams when negotiating charter like what the charter means, what we need to do, and basically strong arming teams into signing a charter agreement that they may not necessarily agree with. They want to hold off on this because if NASCAR takes the charters, NASCAR's council has allegedly sent a letter to the team's council that says if we take these charters, we want to sell them as soon as we possibly can. So the teams then would have no charters. They would be revoked and then sold off from underneath them, I think. And that's a whole can of worms that they don't want to open. So they're hoping by Wednesday the teams will hear something from NASCAR about this. Decision will be made so that they will not turn up in Dover as open cars. We'll see how it goes. It is this is an ever-evolving situation.
So this weekend's Dover, is that correct?
Yes.
So if they are open cars in Dover because they lose their charters, but NASCAR can't sell them right away till the trial. That's not. Aren't they in a holding pattern? Don't they have to like not sell them just in case like? Because what if the trial comes in December and let's say the judge is like, yeah, NASCAR, you're wrong. They deserve their charters and to negotiate it. But it's like, oh, we've sold the charters already. What then? You'd just make four new charters?
It would probably go to another trial. And
That's
something
insane.
would end
Why
up
would they
having,
do that?
because they can make the money off of it now. They would have to pay teams the damages and stuff if that were the case. But like, if they feel confident that they're going to win this case, they can sell the charters. That is their right to do so. And if they are passed back into NASCAR's hands to own them, then that is NASCAR's property that they can do what they want with at that point. And that's basically what the teams are trying to prevent happening. saying like, let's just operate as is until we get to this ultimate trial, as opposed to we take these charters away and then see what NASCAR does with them. Um, it's the teams lost their charters on January 1st. They do not have, they're operating as chartered teams though. This is the thing. They're losing their right to operate as chartered teams.
If they lose, the teams have to back pay NASCAR for all the benefits
Yes.
they've gotten as charter teams, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
Oh, I see why.
Yeah.
Sorry,
They
I
do
see
not have
why.
charters, but they're operating as a charter team, and they want the whole restraining order is to continue operating as a charter team. Their charters at this moment are like in a holding pattern, where they're just like in limbo, and NASCAR is keen to sell them as soon as possible because they can get the money
Right.
if they want it. So
And
the
NASCAR
drama
has interested
continues.
buyers. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. I am seeing a lot of bootlickers in the comment section. Like, I get it.
Oh.
If you're like, oh yeah, like they would actually like obviously the team would have to back pay if they lose their charter because
Yeah.
they got the benefits of a charter while not having a charter. I got that. No problem. It's insane how many people want the teams to like lose. And I was like,
Yeah.
suddenly you like NASCAR? What is happening?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're
this
on their
is-
side? No, everyone's the asshole here. I wish we all understood this.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to say
They're right
both
about
sides have a good argument, but like I do think the teams have a good argument.
Yeah.
If I had a team in NASCAR, I would absolutely request the right to say I want more say in how we operate this whole fiasco, this whole thing that we've got going on, because that impact, like if I'm signing a fucking contract, I would like to have the right to
Right.
negotiate that contract. I don't think that they're asking for too much. Other teams were in a similar position of we don't like these terms, but we feel like we have to sign this now because NASCAR is saying sign it or else. And then NASCAR, I can see where they're coming from in the sense of like, as Chap is saying, there was negotiations for several years on this. No one was coming to an agreement. They said do it or else, and now here we are. I want to see it. I want to see it hash out core. I want to see it get messy.
I mean,
Sorry.
I would say it is messy because what happens? They lose
Yes.
their charter. What happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, HCAT's saying NASCAR's coming up with the whole thing, but this was a losing battle. They 2311 FRM needed more people on their side. Yeah. How does it not look like either way the teams are fucked?
I mean, that's kind of what it is. I think the teams are going on I don't know, you martyr yourself on a pedestal and hope that you've changed things for the future. I think they were hoping that, like, because Michael Jordan is involved in this, that there is. It extends, like, the clout of it is greater than what it sounds like, you know what I mean? Like, we've got a dude on our side who is a legend and therefore should be treated more respectfully. It's a situation. There's not going to be a winner in this one.
Well, NASCAR can easily win.
Well, NASCAR can absolutely.
I also don't feel like this is a
win.
big loss for NASCAR either. They should have just let the teams. Like, we should have talked about it in a big ass room because I think was it Richard Childress who was also quoted saying like, "Yeah, they kind of forced my hand into signing this, and I just did because I didn't want to fucking deal with it anymore."
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. The teams thought that they could, I think, maybe get more support on their side, but
Everyone's too
it's not
scared.
shaping up that way. Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Lame. There's a good article that I posted in Discord that I will post here in a second. They're talking about private equity in NASCAR. They're talking to Steve Phelps, NASCAR commissioner. He was talking about what's your strategy around private equity. That's really at a team level, not the governing body. Charters are not franchises, but they allow for a fixed amount of money. They ask why they're investing. Over the past 5 years, charter values have gone up by a factor of 15. Private equity is helping drive the cost of the enterprise value of those charters. Private equity doesn't get into things to lose money. They don't get in it to have enterprise value go down. They get in it because they think it's a good investment. They're savvy buyers, and they're seeing growth in the sport, and they believe that the enterprise value of these charters is going to continue to increase. He talks about private equity, kind of a little bit of a charter discussion. The interesting thing that people have found, I think Adam clipped this from a Sports Business Journal. He said They asked about the antitrust suit going on with 2311 in front row. A judge said he hopes for some sort of settlement. What's the likelihood of that? Steve Phelps, NASCAR commissioner, says, I don't know what's going to happen. The lawsuit is supposed to be an antitrust lawsuit. I don't believe in it. It's an antitrust lawsuit. I think it's just a contractual dispute. We had 13 of the 15 charters holders representing 32 teams sign. On balance, if there are winners and losers to the charter extension, I think the teams won. The number one thing the teams wanted was more money, which is exactly what we gave them. We're either going to settle or we're going to go to court. Do I think we'd be willing to entertain a settlement? Yeah. To date, they have not come with anything. I don't even know what their demands are. I don't even know what they're suing for.
That's crazy.
NASCAR said, we don't give a shit. This is wild.
They can take their blows and still come out on top, I think. So
that's out of context. That's the whole entire paragraph, chap. It's in the article. It's the last paragraph. I read you the entire thing. That is the context provided with it. Unless there was more to that they did not include in the article that they wrote. That is the whole entire. That's where Adam got the quote from.
It's contextualized by statements earlier in the article.
A charter is essentially a spot on the grid, right? Geez. Yes?
Yeah.
Let's just say yes.
Yeah.
And we'll just
close enough.
There's also things that come with the charter. Special like cuts that you get for the broadcasting rights and other things like that. So NASCAR gave up money to teams from NASCAR and the track share of TV revenue is increasing. That's where the money comes from. But we don't know how much they gave. You keep saying it. They're like, oh, yeah, we gave more money. But you can give 0.05% and still say you gave more money. Teams want probably more than 0.05 or 1%. They probably wanted 10 or 15. I don't know what the answer is. Also, NASCAR controls a lot of things. There's a lot more to this lawsuit than just, like, the money side, too. And, like, the fact that Steve Phelps is doing such a good job of propagandizing, of being like, yeah, it's clearly just about the money. I was like, it's more than that. It's because the France family has so much say in everything that happens here. Chap, stop being a bootlicker. Get out of here. Teams are not happy with something. I think the key word is guaranteed a spot on the grid. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Still waiting for Ash's NASCAR 101 class. That's another episode. It's going to take a while. Me and Chad will argue about this later. No, give more boots.
We can talk about other boots being licked. Christian Horner got fired.
How's that a boot being licked? Isn't that a good thing?
It is a good thing, but there are people who don't think it is a good thing. There's a shocking amount of people who are upset by this, which I found
Let's go through the facts, and I think I can see where those people are coming from.
Yeah. All right. Red Bull Racing CEO and team principal Christian Horner was fired on July 9th after 20 years of being with the team. Since the team entered the sport, Christian Horner has been its team principal. He has been replaced by Laurent Mekies, who was previously the team principal at VCarb, and Mekies at VCarb has been replaced by Alan Perbain.
This decision is the CEO, not the team principal. Or is he also acting team principal?
He's acting team principal.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Thank you.
Yep. The decision came as a surprise to a lot of people. Though according to German newspaper Bild, Christian Horner may have had an idea because at his estate in England, he hosts a skeet shooting contest every year. If you've watched Drive to Survive, you've seen clips of this event. Apparently, a lot of Red Bull folks, including Max Verstappen, called out sick and did not attend. So this is an abnormal thing. Usually it's all of the folks go. This decision was allegedly made on Monday after the British Grand Prix race weekend. Horner was fired 2 days after. A lot of folks think this timing is a little strange considering we're close to summer break. And that's usually when these big decisions end up being made. But Horner was fired with immediate effect. We are also in the midst of what is effectively now a period of time where teams are turning their attention to the F1 2026 regulations. So we're making a transition here. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe Red Bull's making moves on that front. We don't really know. We do know that is the end of the longest serving team principal on the grid as of 2025. We also know that Thai investors sold a 2% stake just before all of this kicked off. It is unclear as to how tied into this decision that was, and what that situation was. There are also a lot of questions as to why this decision was made now. And I have listed out several cascading, I think, reasons. First and foremost, if you recall back in 2022, Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz died. That, in and of itself, like, kind of came as a surprise, set the team spinning. They still operated well, but then that happened. Uh, After that, Christian Horner's place on the team has been tenuous since he was alleged to have acted inappropriately toward a female employee. He again was cleared of wrongdoing in this situation, but the very fact of this investigation happening, these accusations coming out, etc., annoyed people like Helmut Marko and Jos Verstappen. I think if you remember, Jos Verstappen was like fighting with Christian Horner during this whole saga, potentially leaking information about what was going on to media. It put the team in a very weird situation. Again, if you remember, the investigation that was undertook, I believe, was undertaken by Red Bull affiliated hired companies. So questions about the veracity of it, etc., etc. Third, there have been many major departures from the team since that point, several of which came as a result of friction and tension created during that investigation period. Adrian Newey, head of design, moved to Aston Martin. Jonathan Wheatley, sporting director, moved to become Sauber team principal. Will Courtney, head of strategy, moved to McLaren. Rob Marshall, chief engineering officer, left, and Lee Stevenson, Max Verstappen's chief mechanic, left. That moves us to our fourth point. The team has been pretty abysmal this season. Performance is slipping, cars are getting harder to drive, and Red Bull's promotion slash demotion of the second driver has not helped anything. And then fifth, we have Max Verstappen potentially considering moving to a team like Mercedes. So we have a lot of factors that have compounded to put Christian Horner in the center of a formidable shitstorm that has struck this team, that sees them now, falling from the heights of dominance to struggling to finish a race and get its cars and the points. Horner will receive a £50 million severance package. A lot of speculation about where he could end up next. Fred Vasseur's rumored to be out at Ferrari at some point, according to Italian media. And I do think that Ferrari would be, if Christian Horner got signed by Ferrari, that would certainly help his ego. But I do not think.
What a weird cultural fit.
Yeah. But Lewis Hamilton, I think, does not want to work with Christian Horner, and so they've spent so much money on Lewis that I don't think they're going to do it. Alpine is the next major option. The team has been a revolving door of higher-ups and could use a certain amount of stability. Christian Horner also, I believe, there's a lot of discussion that because he was blindsided by this, he wants to have some level of ownership stake in the next place that he moves to, so that this is something that cannot happen again. Toto Wolff cannot be ousted from Mercedes because he owns a third of the team. Christian Horner could theoretically invest in Alpine. They open that up, but I don't know that he has the money to acquire enough of a stake in it to make much of a difference. It's strange. Not really sure what's up. I believe he'll have some gardening leave that he has to take, so that basically means he cannot sign to anyone right away. And as far as Red Bull, where they go from here, not sure. Laurent Mekies said his main goal for the next few weeks and months is getting to know everyone at the team and starting to kind of, I think it's all hands on deck for 2026. Lot of chaos that happened. And a lot of speculation. 2025 for Red Bull's probably unsalvageable at this point. So time to move on to the next thing.
From Secret Ingredient slash Yabe, who talked about this in the Discord.
Yes.
When we were talking when this happened, I think a lot of things that you pointed out, like people leaving, doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean it's his fault. All those things, but as you
Correct.
mentioned, doesn't happen in a vacuum. Like the way that a Secret Ingredient wrote, like the buck stops with him as CEO and
Correct.
team principal. So though it
Yes.
is not his fault completely, he still has to take the blame as captain of the ship, right? Like you just go down with it. So I think they were
Correct.
they were ready to get rid of him because of the inappropriate conduct.
Yeah.
And
again,
this was a good
lot
way to
of-
like get everyone to agree. Like we're ready to kick him out here.
Yeah, and many of the folks who left, I know Adrian Newey for a fact was very uncomfortable with the fact that that investigation even happened, with the allegations that were made. He was not happy to be involved in a team that had that kind of look to it, and so that was part of the reason why he made the move to leave Red Bull for Aston Martin. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Christian Horner is the face of the team. He's the guy in charge of the team. He's not making every single decision, but he is responsible for every single decision. And that kind of has now put him on the outs, with the team's very dramatic fall off and all of the chaos that's been going on.
I th- How do I say this? It's interesting to see how fickle Formula One is when you're comparing it to other sports. This has happened in like the past year, right? Or like all this is unfolding for him and his downfall, I guess, his firing. I'm trying to think like I'm thinking about other coaches. Like I'm thinking about the Knicks coach that we fired a couple of months ago. We gave him like one opportunity, like one last opportunity was this year in getting them to the finals. They didn't cut it. So like you're like, oh, I don't know. It's just crazy to think about how intense it is in Formula One, performance wise, CEO wise, and all the other things. I think they really just wanted to get rid of him. That's why I feel like the
Yeah.
Fred thing is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I feel like we're building up. We're seeing progress upwards with Ferrari. They still have their internal flaws, their strategy flaws of being reactive and not proactive. But
Yeah.
this Christian Horner thing just made sense. Like he set himself up for firing, and then everything else on top of that. I think they can use all of that as an excuse to be like goodbye.
Yeah.
See you later.
The team is not in a good place at
Yeah.
all right now. It is not getting out of that place either. It's not making any improvements. They're introducing upgrades that aren't working. Depends on who you ask, but apparently certain elements of these issues were present for Sergio Perez in 2022 and 2023, but the team ignored him because Max Verstappen was dominant. And perhaps those flaws have now been exacerbated through upgrades. And, you have a little butterfly effect where one small thing goes wrong and then everything suddenly is a disaster. So, interesting.
Yeah, folks are saying something about the fact Checo could be on the F1 next grid this year. Christian Horner got Daniel Ricciardo back, and kept Checo in the seat as long as possible. I don't know
Yeah.
how to tell people this. Christian Horner's not the reason they left. He's the reason they stayed. And Red Bull was actually mad at Christian Horner for keeping Daniel Ricciardo and Sergio Perez. They wanted to get rid of them much sooner.
Yeah.
So the only reason they were there for as long as they were was because of Christian Horner. He championed Daniel Ricciardo, and he championed Sergio Perez. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the whole like, oh, get Danny Rick back, like payback. I was like, he's the only reason he was there.
Yeah.
Or a big reason, I should say.
I also don't think
And
we need
sponsors.
Daniel Ricciardo back on the grid.
Yeah, this is a whole different discussion, but I just want to get that straight away. Definitely should have been fired a year ago with the allegations /
Yeah.
all that stuff leaking. And then people are asking why the texts aren't enough. We can't prove those texts or anything, by the way.
Yeah. We still don't know.
We just have no idea. They came from an anonymous Google Drive, and we have no idea if they're legit. That's why the media didn't do anything with them, because you can't just publish that without confirming.
Correct.
And the woman involved in the case, I think, wants to say anonymous and does not want to deal with the media in that way, and nothing to detriment to her legal case. So if
Yeah.
those are correct, they will come out in court as needed
Yeah.
correctly, not through media stuff. So
Or at which point an NDA expires or something, whatever the situation might be that ended up happening that we, for the reasons we don't know why this is exactly the situation.
yeah, the last bullet point where you said the performance is probably unsalvageable, time to turn to 2026. Do we think a lot of teams are really doing that? I know McLaren obviously wants to keep the constructors and keep their focus on winning 2025, but they still want to move on to 2026. But I feel like the bottom of the grid teams are like, what do we
Yeah.
have to lose anymore? Let's like not bring as many upgrades for 2025. Let's literally focus on the next year's stuff.
Williams definitely explicitly has said that, where it's like we like pretty early on in the year we're going to try to get as far as we can up the grid in 26 or in 2025, but there's going to come a point where the whole goal is 2026. A lot of teams, their initial goal was like there are certain elements, like yes, we have a big jump in regulations next year, but there are
Yeah.
certain parts that they can start to work on this year that can transfer over. So the goal is like if we're going to upgrade things, we want to upgrade the things that we might be able to use next year, or at least get a sense of them for next year. So
That makes
I
sense.
think Red Bull, we're going to be at a point of I don't know if they have another upgrade that they were intending to bring this year. If they do, they'll probably still deploy it, but I would assume that that would be the last one. I think a lot of teams are in a very similar situation, where I just don't think we're going to see major changes as we move forward.
God, Max is probably so fucking annoyed that he has to do the media scrum picture
I
again.
was thinking about this actually. Like, my first reaction was like, he's going to have so many
Ugh.
questions to him that he does not want to answer.
You should just sneak in the track the back way, like dig a tunnel, escape from Alcatraz style. Just like get me out of here.
Yeah,
Please do not.
so
I
funny.
do not want to walk. I do not want pictures. I do not want people coming to hospitality. Okay, I just like to say that picture. I don't know if we talked about this. Blows my mind. We really need to fix that in the F1 space. Like you guys go into their hospitality and just lay down phones, and just like hope for the best.
What do you mean?
Like every other sport has like a pre and post game like interview session where players come in either one by one or the star of the team or whoever you want to interview like comes in, sits at a table and then like points to who is answering questions and like ask. You do that for the podium in like that room that gets filmed, but like going to Max Verstappen's house, like going into Red Bull hospitality, is wild. Why is there
Yeah.
no like official place to go do that?
There
I know
isn't
there's that
okay,
pen,
so
but there's also like that where you guys walk in. Why is that
yeah,
allowed?
so there's the pen where we usually do stuff.
Cool.
Most journalists don't like that. I'm gonna be honest, it fucking sucks. If you're there on media day,
Yeah.
you're standing outside for like 6 hours straight,
Okay.
just like
Understood.
holding your microphone out to someone.
Yeah.
Usually there's nowhere for it to go. I legit was doing workouts for my shoulders so that I did not feel as exhausted as I did at the end of those days, just holding your phone out. And
Sure.
it's also, the pen is like one person big,
Yeah.
so there's no room. The hospitality, fantastic, because you can go in. They usually, like, they don't mind to have journalists in the hospitality area because it's the team
Right.
area, but it's not the fancy people area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if there's a press conference, you can sit down in a chair if you are one of the first people to get there. You can set your phone down on something, so you do not have to hold it the entire time, which is great because especially with a Max Verstappen session, you probably are like 6 people deep at that point. Sure, it would be nice if they could have it in like the press conference room or something where we could like sit and be civilized about it, but this is the more civilized of the options
Like
that we have.
guys, like picture this. Like for those sports fans, imagine. And I keep using like New York teams because that's probably who I know. Like imagine like Aaron Judge coming out the side door of Yankee Stadium and like people are asking him questions, or like Jalen Brunson out of the Knicks, like coming out the side door like a Broadway show. Like I just like can't. I just don't get why you guys don't have a room where you like bring up the driver and like you're all sitting in the room and like he points to the questions kind of like the podium question side and like you're just answering like a Ted Lasso episode. Has everyone seen that? Like the fact that you guys have to go into the hospitality because
Yeah,
teams
well,
are having
there's
their lunch there, right? Like you mentioned, it's like a team thing, right? And like
yeah,
absolutely, like teams come in there and get their meals and stuff like that, so people could
but
be
this
having
is
their meals for the
also
garage, and you're also like,
this is the weird Formula One thing, right? Where it's certain they want certain people to have access to this. They want to limit the access that is had to these. on media day, there are two press conferences where three drivers will arrive,
Right.
sit in the press conference room, do their conversations. They do not go to hospitality or anywhere else after that point to speak further to media. That's their media session done. The teams have to provide a media session for every driver and a certain number of team principals, I believe, after the race, but they do not have to put them anywhere special. They do not have to announce them out to people that they don't want to know about this. It's not public information. I know we've talked about this before where it's like you got to get into the group chats, the WhatsApp group chats for the teams. That is generally where that information is communicated so that they keep tabs on who's in the group chat, to keep tabs on who gets invited to these things so that it's not like, when I was doing national media, I never had access to that information. I did not know that teams, you didn't get information about the times that they would be in the press conferences, wouldn't get information about the time that they would be available in hospitality or at the media pen. You just don't get that stuff. If you're FIA accredited, you get a little bit more of it, and if you are in with the teams and respected by the teams, you get all of it. So it's like a level of filters that keeps pushing people
blows
out.
my mind because I totally agree with the media pen thing. Especially I remember the one in Miami. It's just gross outside. It's a very small semicircle. There's no room for everyone. To your point, you're getting shoved out of the way by other journalists who don't give a shit.
Yeah. See,
It's
that's the thing
rough.
that frustrates me is because like I'm a smaller woman. I've never had like I don't know. There's a lot of dudes who just think that they deserve to be here more than I do.
Yeah.
And I understand that there is a certain level of I don't want to say legitimacy to their entitlement, but like if you're a full season journalist, I completely understand why you're like, oh, this bitch who's here for 6 races a year is in my way. But also I stand there just like everyone else, waiting. Fucking usually I'm never the first person there. I'm usually the second.
You got little legs. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't make it there. Interesting. And
Yeah.
I think people were talking about the Christian Horner thing, saying that it was bad that he got fired. I think overall we see him as I meant F1 fans, not like me and Elizabeth. As like what you would think as a good team principal. We don't like him as a person, but did he stand up for the team? Yes. Did he come out with printouts to defend Max Verstappen and his drivers all the time? Yes. Did he have
Christian
that
Horner
loyalty
was
to
the
Daniel
guy
Ricciardo,
you
Sergio
wanted to be
Perez?
your team principal.
You want him to be your team principal because he will.
He's ruthless. He inherits
for the team.
He inhabits that role to perfection. Like being a team principal, when you speak to media, it is a performance. It is performance art. You are out there. Like if you talk to Christian Horner away from, like a live session or like an on the record session, he's a completely different person. You put a camera in front of him or a microphone in front of him, and he turns into his team's biggest defense. He is going to be their litigator. He's going to be like their strategy person, their data man. Like he's going to go to bat for the team. That is what you want your team principal to be doing. Toto Wolff, similar example, little less punchy to the media, I think,
but efficient
but still
and like blunt. He's pretty
ruthlessly efficient. People don't like Fred Vasseur because he does not. Like he defends his team, but he will not bite, if that makes sense.
Neither will Andrea Stella. He will be
correct.
Like,
like they are very informative and interesting, but they are not going to give you a headlineable soundbite quote because they're going to be reasonable about that.
If he wants to put on that persona of being an arrogant asshole, that is on him.
Yeah,
100%. That's like a play that he's doing. Agreed. So there's a lot of Red Bull fans who are like, oh, he shouldn't have been fired. I think the time was ready. I think he should have been fired during the allegations. Easily, no doubt about it. And now all the buck stops there with him with everything going down. So, I wonder what the last straw was for Horner. We know what? We don't know what the last straw. We genuinely do not know if Max Verstappen has signed with Mercedes, or the fact that him just talking to Toto Wolff pissed off Red Bull investors enough. We do not know if that was the last straw till Max Verstappen and F1 announced it with their breaking news graphic. Once we do know, then you can come back in here and brag about it. But we currently genuinely do not know about the Max Verstappen Mercedes thing.
Yeah. We have a lot of like there's so much that goes into it. There are so many potential factors. I wish like if I could say what the last straw was, I would be out here telling you what the last straw was, but we don't really know because so much of that goes on behind closed doors.
I love Andrea Sella. I did not know what that man sounded like for a long time. Yeah, because we talked about this when we did our TP ranking. Zach Brown likes to talk on behalf of the team, which I think
Yes.
Stella's okay with because he probably doesn't like the cameras too much. So Zach Brown's like,
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. Zach Brown is like the public face of the team, and then Andrea Sella is the guy you want to talk to when it's like, all right, performance question. You know, why did we make this strategy call?
Right.
Zach Brown, you're like, I don't know. That's where you go for like the spicy answer. What do you think about Christian Horner?
He's like, oh,
What
I'll
about
fucking tell you.
team battle? Yeah.
Yeah. Max, breaking news, Max stops another cat.
Did he? Is that for real?
That'd be fun.
Because he should.
And named him Toto.
One cat per child should be.
Yeah, so I think people say this as Red Bull fans see this as it further crumbling because you think you would want someone who's been there for a while to keep everything at bay, but obviously he's not keeping everything at bay, and everything that he's done last year and everything that's happening now, same thing. So
He's seen as the foundation of the team, but if the foundation is rocky, then
gotta change out.
Things need to change. So that was one of the things of like journalists were like, oh shit, I can't believe Christian Horner is gone because Christian Horner gives us good stories and good angles. And I have to admit the man is fabulous for that. Showing up in Mexico with his little fucking printouts of graphics, phenomenal. Incredible work. This is why I say like performance.
He's a weasel, but he knew what he was doing, guys.
Exactly.
This is what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
Which is frustrating when someone's a shit person but good at their job. It's so frustrating.
I was like, you know what? I absolutely respect that. This is a man who is going to. He has selected the hill to die on, and the hill is Red Bull Racing, and he will do whatever it takes to die on this hill.
Well, you fucked that up with the allegations.
Yeah, he did. But what are you gonna do?
Ugh.
A man keeping his hands to himself?
Ugh.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, he's a shithole, but a shithead. But he was good at his job. And it's annoying. The only next person, I'm okay with the drama being on the track. Yeah. I think the next person that I now have to blow up for being good at their job is Toto Wolff.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating because I also have my qualms about Toto Wolff. But he's quiet and he doesn't have that arrogant asshole persona. And everyone's like, oh, I love Toto Wolff. And I'm like, no, he's part of the system. You should hate him. He's sucking.
Don't lick the Mercedes boot. No.
Talking about bootlickers. That man talked about MBS recently. Ugh.
Yeah, but the thing about Toto Wolff is that he owns the team, so he has even more of a stake to not be a wiener.
That's my next problem. He's so good at his job. He's also so good at investing, right? With everything that he does, and he's so intertwined, and he politics so well. I hate it. He's so good at it, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Is this when we rant about Toto saying nice things about how Mohammed bin Sulayem runs the FIA? Because that's a rant I want to hear.
That's not a rant I'm going to go on. Sorry.
Yeah, Elizabeth will not go on it, and neither will I. All right, let's talk about IndyCar, baby.
IndyCar, we had a doubleheader at Iowa that I believe did in fact happen despite the fact that no one was there. Weekend kicked off with all the drivers watching a tornado next to the track, which was very fun. The commentary, phenomenal. The drivers, phenomenal. Loved to see their videos of them all like, we're supposed to be sheltering in place, and we are actually outside discussing whether or not this tornado is going to hit the track. Very great. Joseph Newgarden on pole for race 1. Alex Palou on pole for race 2. First race, we got our first Chevy win of the season. Pato O'Ward took victory. That is his 100th start. Snagged the lead from Joseph Newgarden, who was otherwise dominant. That came during a pit stop. He undercut Newgarden, cycled in front, and Newgarden could not get by. It was Penske's best race of the season, I think. I didn't double check that. I'm just making that statement right now because
it's been rough for that.
It's been a bad one. Newgarden P2, Will Power P3, Scott McLaughlin P4, despite the fact that he crashed in qualifying and started from 27th, so he was cooking. And major moment in that first race, Nolan Siegel crashed hard in a solo spin. He was not cleared to race in the second event at Iowa and is currently not. He will undergo an additional evaluation on Thursday before he travels to Toronto. He was displaying some concussion-like symptoms. if he has not improved at that point, they have super sub Linus Lundqvist ready to roll for Toronto. And race 2, Joe Newgarden led all of the early laps, and then literally every single yellow flag that happened near the end of the race fell at exactly the wrong time for him. Alex Pillow won from pole position in his second oval win of his career and managed his fuel well to take the win. And then Penske, like, back to normal. Scott McLaughlin crashed on lap 1. Will Power out of the race soon after. I'm not crashing out, I promise. There's also multiple tire failures at Andretti. Kyle Kirkwood crashed in the first race. Marcus Ericsson crashed in the second. And Colton Herta had a similar issue, but I do think he was able to keep it together. Andretti's obviously investigating this since they were the only team with that kind of catastrophic failure. Iowa also sold 6,000 tickets, I believe, around there. So it's not looking good for that race coming back. The reason it was popular was because Hy-Vee had invested so heavily in the sport in those particular races and also put together great concert lineups. Like, I saw Carrie Underwood at Iowa.
Yeah.
Didn't think that was gonna happen in my life, but here we were. They are no longer doing that, so yeesh.
There's a lot to talk about for the races. Yet again, people were complaining to me who do not know my feelings about it. I've gotten DMs. They're like, "Why do they keep talking about Santino Ferruccio?" Yet again at Iowa.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, they had the beef, right, between Connor Daly
they're really exploiting that,
and Santino Ferrucci that was not, I don't know, it wasn't really beef, but I guess we have to bring back Indy rivals or whatever the hell and argue about it. Turns out both of them were mid as fuck, nevertheless, but it gave them an excuse to talk about Santino.
So there's that.
Yeah.
2, okay, there's multiple things I want to talk about. 1, Iowa did not do well, attendance-wise. Absolutely not. You mentioned that to the Hy-Vee thing. So we're no longer probably going to Iowa and doing a doubleheader weekend. Is that correct?
That would be very likely.
Where are we going instead?
Unclear.
I do read comment sections, which is sometimes a detriment, but this was really interesting because folks mentioned here that, yeah, they didn't like that Hy-Vee barely pushed it. Sorry, not Hy-Vee. The Speedway barely pushed it on their socials. It was all NASCAR because NASCAR is sold out for Iowa.
Yeah.
And they barely pushed IndyCar on their socials, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, etc. People are like, why are they not pushing anything here? That could be the Hy-Vee thing. It could just be like they know they're not coming back, so the Speedway kind of feels butthurt or whatever. Then it's also I don't think the TV ratings did as well as people wanted to.
I don't think so.
I believe it was below 1 million again, and they might have lost a couple, which is really unfortunate. And then if you're also attending at Iowa in the middle of the goddamn day where it's stupid hot, someone in the comments was like, would I rather go to the lake or go sit my bare ass on those steel grandstands and bake in the sun for like 3 hours? They're like, I'm probably not going to attend this race at this time of day.
Yeah.
So
a lot went wrong on that front, which is, I like Iowa. I really like Iowa. It was one of my,
it's really in the middle of nowhere, dude.
It was one of my niche bucket list races to go to, which is very EA Blackstock coded. And I got to go and I had a blast, but
oh, NASCAR, 2 different races on stations at the same time. That was a big thing. Chap said the ticket prices were raised and there were no concerts.
Yeah, ticket prices went up as well, despite the fact that they did not have concerts. So it was a lot. It just, like, a bad look all around. Like, everything kind of fell apart. So not quite sure that it will be back next year. If it is back, it will probably lose its doubleheader status, and that will go somewhere else.
Do we like doubleheaders?
I do. Honest, I think that they are so much fun. More racing all at once for whatever, you know. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. With IndyCar particularly, I fucking love 2 days of IndyCar back to back. I'm like, I finished that first race in Iowa and I was like, dude, we get to come back and do it again. If Alex Palou had won the first race, I probably would have been less hyped. But we got a Chevy win and I was like, we're on the up and up. Things are different now. The world has changed.
I like HCATs here. I like double headers more than going to a track twice in 2 different times of the year.
Yeah.
Wow,
Correct.
are you saying something about a certain other series there, HCATs?
Or about IndyCar when it had the Harvest Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Road Course in October or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I love going to Phoenix twice. And the other thing that happened this weekend is what is going on with people just slamming on Joseph Newgarden here? What is happening? What did I miss?
I was wondering the same thing. I know it's like cool to hate on him now, but like, oh my God. Yeah, he was disappointed at finishing second, but also he has had the worst year of his career to this point and
Yeah.
wanted to win a race.
We just hate Jay New now, I guess. I think Joseph is IndyCar's Joey Logano. No, he's not.
No!
No!
I
He's
will
nowhere
not
near Joey
stand for
Logano.
this slander.
Joseph Newgarden is not two-face on the track and then to your face like Joey Logano was in his prime. Joseph Newgarden is the same person. He was just a little upset. And then people were like, he should talk to media or something like that. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't know what happened. Let me preface. I don't know what's happening there. I guess he refused to talk or say something. People took that the wrong way. And I get it. We'd be like, oh, I think you should talk to the media. Just letting you know. I think Joseph Newgarden made himself available. But then that's it. Then we move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wow, what a piece of shit. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, if this was, I don't know. There's so many other drivers where it's like, if this would have happened, no one would say anything. I don't know.
Calling J-New Joey Logano is fucking insane. I agree. That was insane.
Fucked up.
Me and Elizabeth were like, oh my
Out
God.
of pocket. Out of pocket.
I'm sending you to
Joseph
the cellar.
Newgarden has never been anything but polite to me in person, and Joey Logano has never been anything but rude.
Also, Joseph Newgarden does care about his fans. There's plenty of times where he stayed late. He's the last driver, first driver in, last driver out of like fan signings. And like, don't get me wrong, you don't have to like him. But like, what is this like call for his head because he didn't want to answer a question on the media that you didn't like his radio? The same thing happened to Ryan Blaney, which we'll talk about in Sonoma. Apparently, he had some like sassy radio message. People didn't like that, and he's like, guys, I just like instead of dumping him, I like just said some things on the radio that were like, fuck that guy. Sorry, I was raised right. Then instead of dumping him on the racetrack, I just kept my frustrations between me and my race engineer. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why are we mad at Ryan Blaney?
Joseph Newgarden was the first person who knew me and Chris were getting married. And you know what happened?
God, that's so fun.
Penske sent us a gift.
So you're biased. I see.
I am absolutely 1,000% biased. Joseph Newgarden, when I went to Iowa several years ago, and he won, I was with Expel, so, was there as like a press trip, but they were like, you can come and get a photo on the podium if you want to with him. And I was like, well, duh. I want to do that with anyone, no matter who. And he was stoked because he remembers who I am. And he was like, oh my God, it's great to see you up here. Can you believe it? Like, we just had a win. He's a genuinely nice person who is having a very genuinely bad time with his career right now. I don't know why we feel that every driver should be at their utmost politest, best, and nicest, most available, particularly this year.
Yeah.
Right? Where we have had Newgarden talking to media and people taking his phrases out of context.
Yeah.
People taking the things that he has said and twisting them against him. People are, he'll say things and then he could be the politest boy in the entire universe. And it's like, well, he did X, Y, Z. So he shouldn't have been happy about that.
Yeah.
Or he shouldn't have been sad about that. Or he shouldn't have been grumpy about that. Girl, if I was having Joseph Newgarden season, I'd be having a fucking crash out on social media every single Sunday. The fact that he's not doing that is a good thing. If he's just a little pissed off to the media, I get it. Like, I don't know. I can't. I can't.
I and it's funny that you said that we're expecting them to be perfect, and then but at the same
Yeah.
time, sometimes a driver's a shithead, and people are like, "Yeah, he's authentic." Okay, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
when do we decide that we like a driver when they're authentic, and then another driver when they are authentic,
The thing
we
with
don't like them? I just don't know what the scale is here anymore.
So I dug into this last year because I was very curious about it, and people were mad that they felt that Joseph Newgarden was becoming a person who was different than what they thought he was before. And that was like the big. It was less about any specific thing that he had done, and more about. It was more about that they thought he was one person,
Okay,
and then their perspective of him changed. Which I was like, I guess I can see that, but also people are people. If you knew me
but
10
he's
years
still
ago,
a good
I
person.
was a different person.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that people I knew 10 years ago probably maybe they wouldn't like the person that I've become, and that's fine. Because that's just how people are. But I was like, well, he's still at heart, I think, the same dude. It's just I think that I don't know. We're asking him to be somehow something else.
Dude's gonna live like IndyCar next year because he's so fucking sick of everyone's shit, and then we're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wish he was here."
Yeah. Like it frustrates me. I am absolutely biased. I think Joseph Newgarden is fantastic. I
Yeah.
think he's been one of the greatest ambassadors for IndyCar that we have ever had, particularly in the post reunification era where the sport just needed someone who was passionate and excited about that to promote it and talk about it and like make goofy videos and stuff. He's just a nice guy all around. His wife is lovely.
I want people to know that I have never met Joseph Newgarden nor talked to him. I have conversed with his wife, and she is the nicest person.
Yeah.
So I
Like
am biased there. His wife's pretty badass.
his wife's great.
His wife's so nice.
But like
Name's also Ashley.
I've had 1,000 interactions with Joseph Newgarden because I went to so many fucking IndyCar races as a fan for so many summers in a row and like would wait in the autograph line to say hello to Joseph Newgarden. And he was, I don't know, always very nice. I think it just frustrates me where it's like I have seen how he is bent over backwards to make things happen to be available to fans, to reach out beyond his sphere to make IndyCar as good as it can possibly be. And then, like, the moment he shows weakness, everyone's like, actually, he's not perfect. And so fuck him. Which
There was a
I
whole
think
push
is
to
just
pass thing.
ridiculous.
And
Yeah.
I understand why he doesn't want to talk as much anymore, like publicly to the media like that. So, to your point, crucify what he says, doesn't say, and all this other stuff. So I think he's just a lot more careful too, which can come
Yeah.
off calculated a little bit if you're like thinking what you need to say for a second
Yeah.
there instead of your emotions, and then you sow emotions, and people are like, "Oh God, now you're so emotional." And
Yeah,
it's just
too
like
emotional.
this whiplash, or maybe not whiplash, maybe the extremeness that I'm seeing online, as opposed to why are we not having the same energy towards Santino Ferrucci is insane to me.
Yeah. I think it's
One is genuinely a bad person, and one's just
I
a
have
dude.
theories that I'm not going to share publicly, but I have shared with Summit folks individually
Ooh,
of
write
why
that
I
down.
think this all went down. But I don't know. I think there's
Yeah.
been something of a generational shift, I think is what I will say, in terms of what we want our public figures to be. And Joseph Newgarden is an outdated model of that, I think.
Dirky Dancer says, y'all would not survive if we mic'd up other athletes. Damn, I hear what LeBron James says on the court all the time. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
It's just LeBron James being LeBron James. No
Yeah.
one fucking cares.
Yeah.
I feel like the same thing happened to Oscar after Silverstone, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, interesting. Oh, I did see someone post on Threads. They are, albeit younger, so maybe this is a very much like a Gen Alpha thing of saying, who's everyone's least favorite F1 driver, and why is it Oscar Piastri? And I was like, Oscar Piastri?
Of all the dudes?
Of all the other dudes on the field, you got beef with Oscar Piastri?
Yeah. What a mess.
LeBron James isn't wearing a Shell logo on his chest when he does it. That helps a lot. Yeah, but he's representing the city of Los Angeles. That doesn't help. He's got a bunch of other sponsors and other obligations that he talks when he does in the back. Was it still Staples Center? Whatever it is. Tell us theories so we can make
Stoplights.
anonymous rumors. You
No,
think
I
Jazz
can't.
Chisholm doesn't talk a bunch of shit sometimes? Sometimes he does and gets ejected for it, you know? I love when my baseball players get ejected.
Yeah, that happens.
They also have brand Spencers on them, which is weird. Ugh, Yankees make such arbitrary rules. We'll talk about that some other time.
Uh,
Yeah, but why
we
would
also
Shell give a shit if Joseph Newgarden said, yeah, I had a tough weekend? Or, like, I don't want to talk to the press right now. Like, what are we talking about here? It's the same thing. Sponsors need their players to talk regardless and not get ejected.
yeah.
Didn't Jazz get ejected because a fan rage baited an ump? Jazz got ejected because he disagreed with an umpire's. That was someone from the other team's bench. Yes, Jazz got ejected because he disagreed with a call, and umps are little sassy bitches. Anyway, that's besides the point. We'll get into baseball talk one day. Okay, let's get to NASCAR Sonoma real quick.
Yes. Connor Zilic held off Shane Van Gisbergen for an Xfinity win. There was a very fun stats that came out of this one. Both of those drivers led 70 of the race's 79 laps. And out of the 50 fastest laps of the race, those two set 49 of them. The other driver who set one of the fastest laps of the race was, I think, William Sawalich. But yeah, it was a fun battle, fun race. Did good. Shane said I probably could have pushed him out of the way, but I decided not to. So that happened. And then Shane Van Winsbergen once again for the Cup race on Sunday. Insane. 97 of 110 laps he led. Coming to the end of the race, he made a late race call to stay on older tires when Cody Ware brought out a yellow with 15 laps to go. Some drivers pitted and some stayed out, so there was a big mix of strategy here. Chase Elliott looked like a threat in the final stage because he had those fresh tires, moved up a ton of places, but legit anytime he gained any sense of momentum, another yellow flag came out, so it just kind of kept stopping him. Chase Briscoe also had a strong race, finished second. That means SVG has 3 wins on the season now, which is tied for the most with several other drivers. But apparently a bunch of people are butthurt about this and think that he does not deserve a spot in the postseason. And is like, okay, the Shane Van Gisbergen experiment was fun, but now it's wrong, which I don't understand.
Everyone's getting butthurt all the time over shit.
Yeah, why? I love the argument that like Shane doesn't deserve it because he's not good at ovals. And I was like, well, okay. But the guys that you're throwing in the ring is like deserving a spot in the postseason could also have won a race. Like, I know you guys love Bubba Wallace, but like if he wanted to be in the postseason, he had to win a race or do better. Shane Van Gisbergen has races that he's very good at and tracks he's very good at that NASCAR has put on the schedule. So if you want him to not be good,
Dude, people just hate winners.
yeah.
It's just annoying. I just hate these dumbass takes people have. It takes everything in me
Yeah.
not to say something. And be like, this
Yeah.
is stupid.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Like this is not Shane's fault.
Oh,
He came in here and
100%.
he did exactly what he was hired to do, which was go out and kick ass on road and street courses. He is here for the full season. It's not like he's getting into the postseason by only competing at road and street courses. He's turning up for 38 weeks of the year, sucking shit every so often on an oval, coming to a road course and doing really well. They're part of the schedule. They're part of the schedule. I don't know what you want.
Brad Kozlowski tweeted this week as well, or like a little bit last week, about how there's too many road courses on the schedule, which is like for next year too, which is 7 out of 36, by the way.
Yeah.
Barely, I would say. Still oval dominant in the NASCAR space. And then I think the Break Hard blog replied, and they were like, yeah, if I sucked at road courses too, I'd still think they were too much or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Just like, how do you think there's too many road courses? When it's 16 out of 30,
Yeah.
come back to me, okay?
Yeah.
Till then, by
I don't
definition,
understand.
it's not majority.
Why were we like Harrison Burton got into the postseason last year because he had a shock win at Daytona? Like,
Well, people weren't
Are
happy
we
about
not
that either.
questioning that?
People weren't happy about Alex Bowman in the Chicago one either.
Fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah.
The playoffs, channel your anger at the playoff system. That's the whole problem here. Sorry that, like, winning you're in is a very low bar, apparently, for
The playoffs.
whatever
but,
you dislike.
Yeah. I also find it interesting that we want H-Catch to sing "Give Me All the Road Courses." I do like road courses. I'm fine with the number that we have. I also think we need more different. I still think we need a dirt track.
Yeah.
On the calendar. I think if you're going to be a NASCAR Cup Series driver, you're going to need to be the best of the best in all kinds of tracks, whether that's short ovals, speedways, road courses, dirt. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's not like this is a completely out of nowhere thing. Like, Riverside was one of NASCAR's most popular races for a very long time because Riverside was a great racetrack. I don't know. I like it. I like that we
It
have
forces
the
drivers
diversity
to
of
be
it.
good at different things.
Yes.
Which is what I think inherently a driver should be.
Yes. And, you know, there are drivers who are really good at super speedways and not good at any other racetrack. And why are we not giving them the same energy, saying that they don't deserve to be in the playoffs because they only can win on a super speedway or they can only win on a short track? Like, it's a very similar argument that's being made, but I guess because it's an oval, it's fine.
Yes.
I don't know.
We've solved it.
Eat shit is all I gotta say.
We're done sucking out. That lasted 1 week.
Listen, if you cannot just deal with the fact that, like, a dude came in here and won a race, I just don't understand how we're like, this is the problem.
Sorry, a guy from
for
New
him.
Zealand absolutely embarrassed us on the 4th of July weekend in Chicago. Like, it's not
Yeah.
my fault.
Yeah, maybe don't have the 4th of July race where the foreign guy's gonna come kick our ass. I don't know. Maybe that's a NASCAR problem. But also, do you not think it's cool that a guy who was an absolute master in his discipline said, I'm going to pick up my roots, move to the United States of America, and do something entirely different in a whole new environment, in a whole new car, in a whole new race series? And he's good at some of the races? Like, that's very, very cool to me. That's a... What are we mad about? NASCAR,
Everything.
you've just gotten the highest compliment possible. Like, this guy from some other series said, actually, I want to go here because this is where the racing's good.
I have no
Stupid.
notice. Elizabeth is 100% correct.
Stupid.
Always. Agreed. We have this pit road spat between RFK and Joe Gibbs Racing. Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised NASCAR hasn't said anything.
So I'm going to explain why there hasn't and nothing has happened. Several drivers were pitting at the end of stage 2, including Ty Gibbs and Brad Keselowski. Ty Gibbs and Brad Keselowski had pit stalls right next to each other, right? So Keselowski's crew hopped over the wall before Keselowski got into the box. So his tire guy was out there when Ty Gibbs came through. Ty Gibbs drove through Brad Keselowski's box, which is allowed, to get into his spot, and clipped the tire and twisted the tire carrier's wrist. After the race, the tire carrier was beefing with the JGR crew members. Ty Gibbs did not get penalized. And the reason why, as he told TNT, is that those guys like to push it, and that's the kind of consequence you pay. You do not have to be over the wall that early, nor should you really be. But if you choose to do that, you put yourself kind of in harm's way. And they do that with the intention of slowing down the pit stop of the guy in front of them by becoming a rolling chicane, basically. So it didn't happen. That just shit happens.
Yeah. Chap says, teams coordinate stops like this every week. These two didn't because they're competing for track position between each other. They decided to play stupid games and won stupid prizes. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so that is why Ty has not been penalized. It is not because NASCAR thinks it's no big deal. It is because NASCAR recognized that RFK was also trying to play a game, and they got fucked over.
Yeah.
Also, our fucking bracket challenge, dude.
I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked at my bracket since I got fucked up in Atlanta. I just, don't...
I have been paying attention to it because we're in... Oh, my God. We're in Thailand. For the 4 that are left. Ty Dillon versus John Hunter Nemechek as one of the last two, and Tyler Reddick versus Ty Gibbs. So every tie in the series has made it into the final four for perhaps getting $1 million. Ty Dillon spun his bracket mate Alex Bowman in the closing stages of the race to finish ahead and move into the next round. So very funny.
This is
Very
a
funny.
nightmare blunt rotation. I want
It
none of these guys to
absolutely
get
is.
$1 million.
It absolutely ridiculous. I cannot wait to see how it plays out just because there's the part of me that's a little chaos gremlin that loves to see everything, every good idea fall apart. This is kind of one
Sure,
of
I do
those.
like Tyler Reddick. The other three,
I
I
do.
just, I mean, one, I don't care about John Hunter Nemechek. The other two, definitely not. I do like Tyler Reddick. I don't understand what Dylan's doing in there. Does he need the money? Does he not have Pop Pop's money? Am I not allowed to say that?
Maybe you can give it back to Pop Pop. Maybe he's ready to stand on his own 2 feet.
Yeah. I don't need your money anymore, Pop Pop. I'm gonna go do my own thing. Become a Bob Ross impersonator.
Yeah. Also, Chap raises a good point is that he doesn't think that open teams qualify for this. So, depending on what the charter status is for Tyler Reddick in 2311, if he were to win, he might not even get any money. Yeah. Girl, we're cooking. NASCAR's so fucking back.
Oh, dude, that sucks. Fuck. I hope he wins. Definitely want him in there.
I love it, honestly.
That is fucking wild.
I just hope it's crazy. That's all I hope.
Sweeps it. What's on for this weekend if you want some more taste of summer racing? We got NASCAR at Dover, the Monster Mile. Miles, that famous little statue, and then he holds up like a little NASCAR Cup car. He's awesome. We also have IndyCar at Toronto. And we have some self-promotion in my notes here. Our notes. It's really Elizabeth and Chap that wrote all these all the time. Chap would humbly love to invite everyone to varkracing.com. Slam 2 Pass World Championship tonight at 7 p.m. if you're sim racing here. Hit people, get points is how you like to...
You get points for hitting people. Show up, hit people, get points.
If you like sim racing and want to hit people in sim racing, not IRL, yeah, you can hit Chap. Hit me!
Yeah.
He puts the Discord in there. If you're interested in Vark Racing, they're nice dudes. They have stuff every week, I think, right, Chap? Yeah, check it out.
Pretty much every week. They're on summer break right now, but they do have 2 championships a year. The next one is coming up shortly. Yeah.
Let's see if there's anything else in the motorsport schedule that I'm missing out. Because I almost forgot to mention World Endurance Championship last week. And I was like, oops. Wait, where's my motorsports scheduler? Oh, there it is. The tour comes back tomorrow. Tour de France is currently on a little breaky poo today. NHRA, of course.
Where's NHRA at?
I don't know where it is. I just know they're Pacific Raceways. Excuse me. Is MotoGP on this weekend? Oh my god, yes. Where are they? Where the hell is MotoGP?
Mr. MotoGP.
If I was Mr. MotoGP.
Czechia.
Oh. How fun.
Yeah.
GT World Challenge in Virginia International Raceway as well. Yeah, it looks like a decently quiet weekend. You can find GT World Challenge America streamed for free on Twitch and on YouTube. And obviously NASCAR's on TNT still, to my understanding, and IndyCar is on Fox.
Yes.
MotoGP is also on Fox, maybe. You might not see it in your scheduler, but it's there.
Yeah. If you have the Fox Sports app, you will be able to find it.
That's always a fun one to try to navigate people to. It's at your mom's house? Rude. Anyway. Michael Sully, thank you for the 100 biddies. I appreciate that. Might just be in the Fox business chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Elizabeth and I do have to leave. But I want to
Yes.
thank you all for being here, for hanging out with us. Camden with the 19 months. Welcome back to Vandelay Industries. Moonshot with the follow. Dan Can't Game with 45 months at a tier 2. We greatly appreciate you, Dan. Nice to see you back. Sorry you've been busy with work. People have been mean to you. Let us know because I will fight them. Wayne's Brain, thank you for that follow. Sully, thank you so much for that 100 biddies. Every time Nico Hulkenberg has been on the podium, a team principal has been fired. I love stats. I love stats. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will be back next Tuesday again with another podcast talking about all the week's news. Hopefully nothing else dramatic happens and we can rest and have a calm, relaxing week and weekend.
Yes, that'd be lovely.
That would be
Girl,
lovely.
let me sleep in.
Yeah, let Elizabeth sleep in, everyone. Remember, support local, cleaning your racetracks, drink water, take your meds,
Touch grass.
touch grass. Don't get scammed on Craigslist like I almost did.
Eat a snack.
Don't ever pay anything in Bitcoin.
Correct.
It's not a real currency. I don't care what anyone says. You can't
More like
convince me.
butt coin.
We're like Bitcoin. God, we're never gonna get sponsored. More like Bitcoin. Love it. Bye, chat.